I recently published several videos about different aspects of the Mini 4K, the most affordable DJI lightweight model for videography and photography. Several viewers asked me to compare it to the top model of the lightweight DJI line, the Mini 4 Pro, in terms of photo quality, to help them choose which model to buy. The Mini 4K has a 1/2.3-inch sensor, which is small for today's standards, a fixed aperture of f2.8 and a photo resolution of 12 megapixels. The Mini 4 Pro sensor is bigger at 1/1.3 inches, with an extensive aperture of f1.7 and the same photo resolution of 12 megapixels. Actually, a 48 megapixel mode is available, but it is to be used only in some specific situations. From the specs, we should expect much better results from the Mini 4 Pro due to its up-to-date technology, bigger sensor and much wider aperture, capable of gathering more light. In recent models, DJI has put a big effort into the quality of the lenses, which have improved massively. Also, the performance of the Mini 4 Pro must justify the huge difference in price between the two models. Regarding features, the Mini 4 Pro is a true powerhouse, while the Mini 4K has only a few elementary ones. However, most of these functionalities are meant for video and are not crucial for photos. The Mini 4K can save photos in JPEG format or JPEG plus RAW. You can shoot 3 automatic bracketed photos at different exposure values. The image can then be merged to HDR for better results, especially in high dynamic range situations. I use bracketed photos most of the time to avoid occasional exposure mistakes. I would prefer to have the opportunity to shoot at least 5 bracketed photos, while the Mini 4 Pro has a choice of 3, 5 or 7. Unlike the Mini 4 Pro, the Mini 4K cannot rotate the camera to take photos in portrait mode, which is useful for social media. However, this feature is more important for footage, as it is easier to crop images to the desired format without a major loss of resolution. Both models can shoot panorama photos, although the mode vertical is not available in the Mini 4K. The only major functionality missing in the Mini 4K compared to the Mini 4 Pro is hyperlapse. For all the images in this video, I used RAW file, edited them and export them as JPEG. If we compare the same photos taken in RAW and then in JPEG on the Mini 4K, we notice a big difference. RAW files have more detail and color information, especially in the shadows. Notice how different is the structure of the sky. In the last generation of DJI prosumer drones, the quality of JPEG files has considerably improved, thanks to a more sophisticated processing algorithm. As you can see, JPEG photos taken with the Mini 4 Pro are almost as good as the one taken in RAW. For editing, I used Luminar Neo, my favorite program for photo post-processing. You will find info about it together with a discount coupon in the description of this video. You can watch my video about Luminar Neo through the link above. All the images were taken an hour before sunset to avoid harsh shadows, with less than 10 minutes of difference between the two models. It was a cloudy day with moisture in the air, not the best situation for a photo shoot, but it is good for our test as we can check how the two models tackle more challenging conditions. The Mini 4K behaves surprisingly well for its price. The detail is almost the same as in the more expensive model, as we can appreciate from this top-down image with vegetation and geometrical features. The colors are acceptable, however there is often some color cast, not easy to adjust when editing. The sky structure is decent, but it lacks a bit of contrast in hazy conditions. There is often a hint of noise in the sky and the shadows, but Luminar Neo has an excellent denoising tool. Despite the low price, the Mini 4K produces photos perfectly suitable for social media or to share with friends. The Mini 4 Pro is in a different league, as we should expect. The colors are very rich and respond perfectly to post-processing. It is easy to adapt them to the color scheme of any project. The contrast and the structure of the sky are excellent, and the shadows contain plenty of information. The images are always noise-free. Images taken in the sun's direction are the hardest test for the quality of sensors and lenses. They are not made for beginners, as they require good exposure and editing skills. The performance of the Mini 4K is better than expected, but the difference compared to the top model is more noticeable. In this image with the sun just outside the frame, we notice some haze and loss of detail near the left edge. If we avoid burning the highlight, the amount of information in the shadows is quite limited, and they are rather dark. The structure of the sky is decent, but nothing to write home about. In this other image containing the full sun in the middle of the frame, half an hour before sunset, the lens of the Mini 4K avoids nasty flares, loss of detail, and chromatic aberrations. The elements in the ground have a decent detail and luminosity with limited noise. But the contrast is weak. There is some haze all over the buildings and vegetation, and it's not easy to edit the colors. It's again a decent result considering the price, but the comparison with the Mini 4 Pro is a bit embarrassing. The more expensive model has a sensational sky structure, and the elements on the ground have perfect detail, colors and contrast. This is not far from what we would get with a full-frame traditional camera. In this high dynamic range image, better results are obtained by merging several images into HDR. The improvement compared to the single shot is more evident for the Mini 4K, as with the Mini 4 Pro the results were already outstanding. In my test of the two models for video, we noticed that the Mini 4K is practically unusable in low light, as the small sensor cannot gather enough light. I will post a link at the end of this video. However, in photography we can use slower shutter speed to increase the luminosity, and the performance of the Mini 4K is acceptable. Even when using low ISO values, there is a decent amount of info in the shadows. The noise is limited and can be kept under control with Luminar Neo. The structure of the sky is good, but the color palette is not very wide, and it is not easy to modify the mood of the image. I shot the images with each model in successive days at exactly the same time, during the blue hour after sunset. When I used the Mini 4 Pro, the sky was extremely hazy, with low visibility. Even in these horrible conditions, the results are astonishing. This model can gather so much light that it's hard to believe that it was very dark. Editing the photos is a joy, as the files contain so much information that it is possible to add contrast and modify the color in every possible way. The Mini 4K is very suitable for users who are starting with drone photography, or for casual ones who want to post images on social media or share them with friends. For photography, this model has fewer limitations compared to video. Considering the very affordable price, it is great value as an introduction to drone photography. The photo quality of the Mini 4 Pro is outstanding, suitable for professional use in all light conditions. It is an ideal tool for advanced users or professionals who are mostly active in urban situations and live in areas without strong winds. It is also the best choice for users who already own a bigger model like the Mavic 3 or the Air 3 and need another one for urban shooting and for traveling. Click on this link to watch my video comparison of the Mini 4K versus the Mini 4 Pro for video quality and functionalities. And don't forget to hit the like button if you find this video interesting. Thank you.